According to Hootsuite in January 2020, YouTube is the #2 biggest social media platform. Let me pull out for you quickly, see over here. What you realize is YouTube has 2 billion active users per month. It's only behind Facebook. Now, just in case you're not too familiar with YouTube, how is actually money made? Today I'm going to cover with you exactly how that is. That's the first part of today's video. Who is the biggest YouTuber? Just in case you're not too familiar with who he is, I'm going to share with you and you're going to see the numbers and it's going to blow your mind just in case you don't know how much revenue he is driving. The second part I'm going to touch on is how is money actually made on YouTube? How come they're actually full-time YouTubers? Is that actually possible as a business or not? The third I'll be covering with you is behind the scenes, what I do in order to generate this traffic in YouTube and how much money I'm actually making on YouTube as a small YouTube channel. Now the fourth part and lastly, I'm going to share with you secrets also, how I've managed to grow this channel to become one of the fastest growing finance channel in Singapore. And if this topic interests you, continue watching on. Hi guys, welcome back. Now before we get to who is the biggest YouTuber, let me pull up for you again this Hootsuite chart because it's fantastic. It really shows you some trends. Now in this chart, you realize top #1 is Facebook. And I'm going to share with you something also, because why did Facebook purchase Instagram a couple of years back for $1 billion? That's because Facebook's demographic is very different from the rest that you see in that list over there. Let me circle out for you Instagram and TikTok. If you're looking to communicate with a younger audience, someone who's like less than 30, you have to go to these two platforms, Instagram and TikTok. Because I asked my interns, asked my staff who are younger than me, and what I realized is they don't actually use Facebook that much. They do use YouTube, but they gravitate mainly to Instagram and TikTok. YouTube is nice in the sense that running this channel, I can share with you that I have audience that are older, that are younger, some who are not yet into workforce, some who are actually in the retiree phase. So what I can share with you is YouTube seems to transcend all age groups. But for rest of social platforms, they have their own demographics and their own fans. So hopefully that's useful information for you if you're communicating with your family or your business or your role, whichever the case is. But let's move on to the first key part for today. Who is the biggest YouTuber? You want to take a guess just in case you haven't already found out? That dude is actually less than 15 years old if I'm not wrong. That dude is actually Ryan. Let me pull out for you quickly. See over. Ryan actually made 26 million in 2019. 26 million. I think that's what Lionel Messi made. I think that's what LeBron James made. They are the top athletes. But Ryan is the top YouTuber. And indeed, if you're top in every field, you make astronomical amounts. Ryan runs actually this channel over here. Ryan reviews toys. His channel is fantastic. He reviews toys, of course. There's a lot of sponsorships. Once he mentions something about toy, he demonstrates. I'm sure sales will balloon to the sky. That's why advertisers are throwing money to really get him to do a review. It's pretty interesting. He was one of the pioneers, if I'm not wrong, in terms of doing toy reviews. That is why his channel is global. So now let's move on to a different part. Why do kids want to become a YouTuber? Firstly, they may have heard of how much Ryan has made, how young he is. That's why let me show you this chart over here. You realize that Chinese kids don't want to be YouTubers that much. They want to be astronauts. I don't know why. But nonetheless, UK, US kids want to become YouTubers more than becoming a lawyer, more than becoming a doctor. Maybe that's against parents' view. Just in case you're like me, a young parent, you have to understand that kids are getting a lot of impressions from YouTube, and they indeed want to become a YouTuber because maybe it's all glam and indeed you can make some money. Today we're going to uncover numbers. Don't worry. Later part of videos, I'll share with you my numbers also. But nonetheless, I wanted to also share this topic because I think it's not mentioned enough. That actually when YouTubers go too young, there's a lot of pressure when you're public, correct? Just like right now, I'm producing content, financial content. I realize I'm becoming public and there's certain pressures involved. For someone that's younger, there's always that risk. So just in case you have someone who's younger, a younger friend, a younger family member, I'd like to show you this article also that it is indeed true. Once you're public, you get criticism. You get a lot of negativity that might affect mental health in a lot of aspects. This is not mentioned enough in YouTube channels. Just in case you know someone who's keen to start a YouTube channel too quickly, always warn them on doing something they like and be ready for once they're in public, they cannot remove themselves from that. So again, this is important information. Now let's move on to the next section, which is how money is actually made with a YouTube channel. Now, if you're a fan of this channel, I'm sure you've seen before adverts, correct? A banner in front of me, or sometimes even an ad before this video is allowed to play. Now, ads are actually a big revenue stream for many YouTubers. How does it actually go? How does adverts actually work? Now, as you do know, when you're watching this content right now, you're actually spending time on YouTube. And what YouTube or any platform realizes, once they have your attention, they have a chance to tie in a brand's time to show their brand in front of you through an advert. And how it actually works is YouTube, just like Google, has two sides of it. One is an AdSense, whereby they work with content producers like what I'm doing right now, and they pay a small fee of it. And the other is actually the AdWords portion, whereby they get big brands who want to pay money to advertise to you. And money is actually collected and transacted just for that span of time to be in front of you. So your attention is actually very important, very valuable to brands. Because let's look at this chart over here. Brands and products, 20 to 30% of all age groups discover new brands and new products via adverts. That's why brands know that paying money can potentially lead to a customer like you. So how do YouTubers actually make money? Firstly, they make, of course, through adverts, partnering on the AdWords side, AdSense side. And the other part, if you don't already know, is actually in sponsorship deals. So majority of YouTubers actually make the bulk of their money on sponsorship deals, including possibly Ryan, which I mentioned at the start of the video. So not only Ryan is only reviewing toys, but there's a lot of other influencers. They have mega reach and mega appeal to brands who want to really be able to monetize certain revenue. Let me show you this story by Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is huge on YouTube. He has a channel that's like 8 million subs, and each of his videos are a couple of hours long, and he has a lot of attention from viewers. And what I can show you over here is Joe Rogan actually had a massive payday. He's right now partnering with Spotify to move all his content to Spotify. And why is Spotify paying 100 million for influencer? That's because, again, let me pull up for you to quickly see. This chart over here mentions that 20, 30, 40, 50% of every one of us actually discover brands via recommendations on social media. So if, for example, Joe Rogan mentions something good about a particular brand, that brings massive awareness to it. And again, when people research on YouTube or on any platform like you and I do, we are able to discover things, and that's where the attention really has a lot of monetizing value. So that's predominantly how money is actually made on YouTube. Now let's move on to the next section, where I'll be sharing with you behind the scenes what I do, as well as what amount I'm generating as a small YouTube channel. Now, if you're still here, help me smash the like button so that more people can see valuable content like this. Because we spend as a team 8 to 10 hours to produce this video for you. And how it actually goes. On my end, I actually spend at least 2 hours. 2 hours doing research. All the infographics you've seen is all purely based on research. And I'm actually quite passionate in researching on finance and business. So I don't really see too much as a hassle. It's for my own education, and that's where I'm actually sharing with you from the bottom of my heart. And beyond that, the next leg, now I've actually a teammate that runs the edit for me. And that actually requires 6 hours, something like that, to do an edit for you. It's not easy. So in that sense, each video takes research, filming, and then editing. That's why 8 to 10 hours is needed to produce this content for you. So what does it drive in terms of revenue, you may ask? These are my numbers. I want to show you to be transparent with you also. As I mentioned at the start of the video, adverts are where money is actually paid from those people who want to pay for advertisements to a channel that's creating content. And right now, the AdWords is paying, what I'm receiving on the AdSense side is actually about $20 a day. And what I realized is, in Singapore especially, not many YouTubers actually share how revenue is actually made. So I want to do this breakthrough also. So I have to show you certain figures. $20 a day, while it's not small, because it's still a couple of hundred each month, whereby it's passive income, it's quite fun. But big, also not that big, not enough to do a full-time job with it. So that really shapes some direction to this discussion. How much does a small YouTube channel actually make? So that's my numbers actually. And as you can see at the bottom of the chart, I'll put it for you again. I've been producing videos 3 times a week. So it actually takes a lot of effort to generate this momentum for the YouTube algorithm. So there's a lot of effort just to make that $20. If that's not for you, that's fine. Continue to consume content, because that's much easier. If you are interested and passionate about making, at least that gives you some realistic numbers if you're looking to start your channel yourself. I'll also move on to some other things I learned from other YouTube channels. Others I mentioned also, across years, there are actually seasons whereby advertisers pay more and seasons where advertisers pay less. So the revenue, while it's passive, it is also going to fluctuate. So it's not like a full-time job, a fixed pay kind of thing. Now in this section, I want to share with you some secrets as to why this channel is growing relatively quickly. And again, if you have invited friends to this channel, they're subscribed, thank you so much, because indeed we're actually growing at quite a nice pace. And these two secrets, let me share with you also. I have data points just in case you don't know what goes on behind the scenes. This is the first thing I'd like to show you. This is a previous video I've done about 6 months ago on, like, for example, a wedding budget. And what we can see at the bottom, you realize that audience retention, which means at 3 minutes 25, only 40% of audience remain, which means 6 people have exited. They thought that this content was boring, to be honest. So that was feedback that I had to look at. So I've actually taken a lot of suggestions, how to improve lighting, how to improve the quality. And with that, actually YouTube rewards for quality more than for quantity. YouTube again rewards for quality, and with improvement in terms of how things are presented, how things are articulated, how things are edited in. What I've actually managed to drive up in terms of statistics is, as you can see over here, throughout the whole video, audience have actually retained at least half of them, which means there's a massive improvement. Previously 3 minutes plus, 6 people out of them have left already, but right now 5 people out of them have actually stayed to the end of the video, just like you have. So again, thank you for staying, thank you for watching. That tells YouTube that this is valuable content to share more. So these are some of the improvements that I've taken, feedback and criticism from each and every one of you. And again, another tip that I've taken and executed on is, once you like a particular topic, I've actually done multiple variations of it, just to give you more perspective, just in case you're keen to research. At the start of the video, I mentioned everybody goes on YouTube to do research, a lot of us. And then right now, once you give me feedback that this is something that you like, you want more perspective, I actually take that feedback and actually do more of it. SIA, for example, is one that I've done multiple videos on, just to really expand as much as I can to each and every one of you who are interested in investing in SIA as a share. So again, these are some changes, some improvements, and the real secret as to why this channel has been growing. So again, hopefully this is something interesting to you. YouTube indeed is possible as a business. The top are actually doing very well, doing mega amounts of money. But for a small YouTube channel, it's not too bad. As a passive income, quite fun. That's where I'm at right now. So again, if you have questions, leave them in the comment section. I'd like to help you answer them also. And again, see you in a future video. Take care and goodbye.